What's up, everybody? Hulk93 in the place to be, and this is a review of WWE's latest pay-per-view, No Mercy. Hope everybody's doing well on their end, as am I. This is pretty much a rare video because if you had listened to the series finale of the Wrestling Corner that I did way back, you guys were made aware of that I would be making a new channel in regards to wrestling discussions like the Wrestling Corner. That is still in the works, that new channel. But I just felt after watching No Mercy that just wanted to give my thoughts on the whole ordeal. I actually wanted to get on YouTube before No Mercy and give my thoughts about the Mae Young Classic, but I just kept putting it off. Overall, I thought the Mae Young Classic was very well done. For those of you that don't know, spoiler alert, Kairi Sane was the winner of the Mae Young Classic, and due to that, she will be getting a NXT Women's Championship title opportunity at the next Takeover Houston in a Fatal 4-Way. But yeah, one thing I can say about just give my quick thoughts on the Mae Young Classic. One thing I can say that I felt they had over the UK and the CWC, the Cruiserweight Classic, was that there were more prospects that I felt WWE should sign, or basically that, or they have to sign. That's one thing that coming out of the Mae Young Classic that I felt was over than the UK tournament and the CWC. I'm really hoping for most of those girls to be signed. I've always said if they can get at least 25% of the women in there, that would be good. But only criticism I had of the Mae Young Classic was because it was booked in a 2-day span, July 13th and July 14th. There was not that many matches that went over 10 minutes, and it was because of that. Because the second round, the quarterfinal, and the semifinal were all done in one night, and that was July 14th. You can tell by watching the actual event. I was happy to say that my fears for the finals were quelled, because my fears were quelled. My fears of the finals was that because it was going to be taken out of Full Sail and was going to be done after a SmackDown, I felt that most of the people in that Las Vegas crowd probably was not even following the Mae Young Classic, and Shayna Baszler and Kairi Sane was just going to get a very, very silent, we're going to be basically a dead crowd. But I got to tip my hat to WWE. Somehow they found a way to get everybody into the match. I don't know how many people in Las Vegas was following the Mae Young Classic. I can tell that a good portion was because you were seeing, Kairi Sane signs, and there was, I believe, like a dueling chant at one point. But yeah, overall, I felt the Mae Young Classic was very well done. But this is about WWE's latest pay-per-view once again, No Mercy. No Mercy was held on September 24th. It was being held in the Staples Center in Los Angeles, California. This pay-per-view, before I get into it, I think one thing that can definitely be said about this pay-per-view that I think would be a majority of most people's thought process of this is that while the pay-per-view was going, they had one feeling that once pay-per-view ended, whatever that feeling was, completely changed. So let's just go right into it. I'm not going to go into the pre-show because if you guys remember watching the Wrestling Corner, I really never watched the pre-show. The only pre-show match that the last pre-show match that I ever tuned into watching because it was really, really good was this past SummerSlam with the New Day and the Usos. So we're just going to kick it off with the actual, opening match, which was Jason Jordan versus The Miz for the Intercontinental Championship. Because this was held in LA and, The Miz is this Hollywood A-lister, And even though he's from Cleveland, Ohio, Miz was basically the crowd favorite. You could definitely tell. And then also it doesn't help the fact that, because of the Kurt Angle storyline, Jordan just hasn't really been given, the great face reception that I think WWE probably thought he would get being Kurt Angle's son. Because the fans, they just don't buy it. They just really don't buy it. But what they can buy and what they do love about Jason Jordan is that when the bell rings and he's suplexing people around. That's one thing that cannot deny that the fans do love. They do love seeing Jason Jordan suplexing people around the ring because he's very fluent with how he performs his suplexes. And the Miz has always been pretty good at making people look good throughout by his selling. Overall, I just felt it was a good opener. It got the crowd going, and it already got it had a "This is awesome" chant. And that's always good to say for a opening match. The opening is always supposed to be a good indication of what's to come. It's supposed to be the pacemaker, it's supposed to set the tone of the pay-per-view. And this match did just that. Unfortunately for Jordan, he would succumb to a skull crush finale and lose. Kind of a distraction because the Miz tried to get involved, but he did fall into a skull crush finale, and that probably should have been it. That probably should have been it of this match, but instead they decided to have Jason Jordan cut a post-match promo, and it was horrible. There was many reasons why it was horrible. One of my main gripes about it that he was supposed to be coming across like he was upset that he had been screwed out of the Intercontinental Championship by the Miz, Taraj, and the Miz. However, he could not help himself. He could not help himself, and by cracking smiles or smirks or smirking, it's like, aren't you supposed to be upset? And it's not even like he was like sarcastically smirking. I was like, it just really took like, are you supposed to be upset, dude? Or what? And then just the promo of saying, they might tell, my father, like almost an endearment that, he sucks. But Miz, the one that really sucks is the Miz. As like Luke Owen and Ollie Davis from Wrestle Talk News said it on their Wrestle Ramble. It was so, schoolyardish. Like, oh, you think I suck? Well, you suck too. It was very schoolyardish, and it makes you wonder where they're gonna go with Jordan from here on out. I'm not sure if they're gonna piggyback on him with the Miz. Doesn't seem that way as the Miz is now embroiled in a feud with Roman, which is probably setting up for the Shield's inevitable 5th year anniversary return. But I don't know, maybe I was gonna say maybe have him feud with, I don't know, I'm talking about Jordan, maybe have him feud with the Drifter, but the Drifter seems like he's in a feud with Apollo and Titus O'Neil. But overall, a good opener for the Intercontinental Championship. Second match on the card was the man versus man. Or they billed it as the man-to-man match. Finn Balor versus Bray Wyatt, their third encounter in this feud that, when all said and done, was kind of dry. Even with the return of the Demon, it was basically kind of dry. But this match wasn't dry. This match was, out of all the matches they've had, and they've had, this was the third one. This was the best match of their series, of their feud. Also, Finn coming out with new color scheme. Some people said it was like some type of blue. Some people said it was some type of blue. When I looked at it, it looked like, gray. Like that real shaded gray. But some people said it was blue. And at some points, I went back and watched. There were some times where the tint did look blue. But overall, it was new color scheme for Finn. And the match, before even the match started, Finn was already attacked by Bray. He took a Uranagi on the announce table. And, they're playing up that Finn is hurt. Now, a part of me, when I was watching it with my cousin, my brother, and his friend, my cousin's friend, one thing that was that just found bothersome, a little bit bothersome, was that it's kind of hard for me to buy that. Oh my gosh, Finn Balor, he can't wrestle, with an injury, when the guy wrestled the Universal Championship, the first ever Universal Championship match, with a legitimate injury. He popped his arm back into place and finished the match. So it's and since they did announce that, acknowledge that on TV, so it's not like, oh yeah, that's just an insider thing. No, they even acknowledged that on TV, so it's kind of hard for me to buy. Oh, there's a little rib injury, it's going to prevent Finn Balor from, continuing a match. However, that did work to get. I really think that helped get the crowd more into the match than probably the match, or maybe. But then again, I could be wrong, because the LA crowd, up until I'd probably say near the end of the night, was into mostly everything that was going on in the ring. But I really think the little portion they did with, Finn looking like he's going to be sent to the back, and Bray Wyatt calling him out, basically challenging his manhood, really got the crowd more invested into the match. And yeah, once again, Finn and Bray, this was the best match they put on together. And one of the big spots of the match was Finn was going to go for the coup de grace, and Bray Wyatt did the crab, sit up. Now, as for the crab sit up, me and my brother, we have always felt that after a while it was like, okay, when is somebody just going to kick this guy when he does the crab walk or crab sit up or stand up? And with this case, if I was the booker, I would have booked it as, because Finn just stood up there all shocked, and he was up there for like a long time just with a shocked look on his face. But I was like, if I was booking, that would have been a coup de grace, just to show that the man, it's not just the demon that's not scared of Bray Wyatt. Also, the man Finn Balor is not scared of Bray Wyatt. Now, probably would have been dangerous. Then again, maybe the only thing Bray would have to do was maybe just, fall on his back at the last second before the impact. But that's why we're booked as Finn. He does the crab walk, and Finn, for a second, looks shocked, but then he gets that aggressive look on his face and drops down for the coup de grace. And that was the end of the match. And I thought would be the end of the feud, but however, WWE had to say no, that was not the end of the feud. Because then on the following night, after it looked like, of all things, Finn Balor's next feud was going to be with Goldust. After beating Goldust, we here have the whole world in his hand. And when that happened, I'm just like, you got to be kidding me. They're seriously going to continue with this feud. I do not understand the reason for why they continue this Bray Wyatt and Finn Balor feud. Oh, before I even go more into that, there's one thing also I wanted to touch on. Was I first heard it through Luke Owen and Ollie Davis when they were when they were reviewing this. Ollie Davis, they were talking about Booker T's commentary, which, yes, Booker T's commentary as of late has been very, very awkward, to say the least. I've been calling him Mr. 180. It's like 1 minute he's going hard for a face, the other minute he's going hard for a heel. It's just very weird at times. And then there's times where he's just like in his own world. But Luke Owen brought up that when Finn went for the 1916, which was pretty cool because I believe he has not hit it since he's returned from his injury. He went for the 1916, and Corey Graves called it. He was like, "Oh, the 1916," and then Booker T was like, "Oh, I don't know what the 19. I I don't know what the 1916 is, but I know what a clothesline is. Like, and it's like, wait a minute, dude. As a commentator, shouldn't you kind of know if a person's already done a move to know what the move is? It'd be like if no, oh, here's the Styles Clash. Well, I don't know what the hell the Styles Clash is, but it's like, well, he's been doing it enough for you can actually go back and watch. You know, granted, yeah, Finn Balor since he's come to the main roster hasn't really done the 1916, but still, it just seemed very like boneheadish. It's like, really, you guys gonna say I don't know what the hell the 1916 is? It's like what Corey does, but just want to touch on about this feud not being over because I saw in the comments section because I'm also a part of Yep I Like Wrestling's Facebook group, and one of my friends, Blue Goblin, you know, he's part of that group. He's part of their Facebook group too, and he put about, you know, why can't this feud end? And somebody commented on saying that, you know, you would never survive in the 70s, 80s, and 90s when, you know, feuds will last for a year or a couple of months. And, you know, I basically stepped in for Gabi before Gabi chimed in too. And I'm thinking to this guy, you know what? Further, this has nothing to do with this. What? It's not because the feud is going on like for a month or so. Because yes, there have been some of the best feuds in wrestling haven't been done like in a month or so. You know, they've been stretched out. But the thing is, it's been stretched out with definitive finish after definitive finish where it looks like, okay, there's no reason for this thing to go on. This is the thing with Bray Wyatt and Finn Balor is a case of what TV tropes will call ending fatigue. They've had definitive endings galore. Well, even though it's only been two. The first match, okay, the first match on Raw, Bray Wyatt won clean. And if it wasn't for him dropping that red gunk that they was calling some acidic, you know, liquid or something, which I guess was supposed to be blood, but they were calling it acidic liquid, even though they didn't burn Finn Balor, it looked like it was more cold. If it wasn't for that, then I would have just said, well, okay, Finn lost to Bray. Guess the next feud. Then they do the SummerSlam match, which the Demon comes out, and he beats Bray Wyatt clean. That seemed like a very definitive ending for the feud. Now this time, okay, well, it wasn't you that beat me, it was the Demon. And can the man beat the God? And now the man has defeated the God. Not only did he defeated him after getting, you know, assaulted before the match. That's a definitive end. There's no reason whatsoever for this feud to continue in terms of storyline purpose. That's why I joke. What's next? Is now Bray Wyatt's gonna bring out his demon form? Like he's gonna go to the remainings of Sister Abigail's ashes and put them around his face or so, and he's gonna come with some dirt looking face. He's gonna have red eyes, and it's gonna be Bray Wyatt's demon versus, you know, or like a Sister Abigail, you know, controlled Bray Wyatt versus the Demon Finn Balor. Is that what they're setting up? Like, are they really gonna go way out of the box with this? Because I just don't see the reason to keep this going. I really don't. So I just wanted to touch on that. Yes, there have been plenty feuds that have gone, you know, for instance, I got Shawn Michaels and Chris Jericho, one of my favorite feuds in the past decade. That feud started at Backlash when Jericho was a special guest referee for Shawn Michaels and Batista, and that's when Shawn Michaels feigned injury. And it lasted up until like October. But it didn't really get really fully going in a way when like Jericho became the heel until June when he threw Shawn Michaels into the TV. But they had the match at the Bash, which Jericho won by bloodying, basically by stoppage, by bloodying Shawn Michaels' eye. Then SummerSlam, they didn't have a match. They had the Shawn Michaels retirement, which led to Rebecca getting punched. Then at Unforgiven, Shawn Michaels beat Chris Jericho in an unsanctioned match. Now I will say it kind of should have ended right there, but because I'm finding this out from CM Punk's DVD that management felt that the Shawn and Jericho program needed the title, which I feel that it really didn't. It was already running and gunning without it. So Jericho got the belt in that same night, and they had the epic ladder match at No Mercy. But still, it was stretched out with reasonable reason to be stretched out. They made up reasonable ways to stretch it out. That's not the case with this Finn Balor and Bray Wyatt feud. I think majority of people would like for this feud to end. If Miz wasn't dealing with Roman, I would say that Finn should be feuding with the Miz. I felt that he should have been feuding with the Miz months ago. I feel that Finn, if you're not gonna have him, if he's gonna have to wait for a long time to finally get his one-on-one Universal Championship match, then I say put him with the IC title. Heck, he can they always do a US Open challenge. How about an Intercontinental Open challenge? Or just, you don't even have to do it. Just Finn could be able to just put on good match for the Intercontinental Championship until it's time for something else. Or you could have just had him resume with the Drifter, who I feel is getting better, because don't forget when the last time they had that match, that no DQ match, it was Bray Wyatt that helped the Drifter win. So you can have Finn, try to avenge that loss. Something, anything, as Bray Wyatt was saying, anything but Roman, anyone but Roman, anyone but Bray, anyone but Bray right now for Finn Balor. This feud just needs to die. Going on to the third match for the WWE Raw Tag Team Championship, The Bar, Sheamus and Cesaro versus Ambrose and Rollins. Talk about a physical and brutal match. Very physical and brutal. From the outset, because I think from the outset, like the Bar started laying out, the tag chance from the get go. Like I think Seth got already knocked off the apron and everything. It was just hard hitting, like I said before, from beginning to end, and it did come with some casualties, and those casualties were Cesaro's two front teeth. So basically, what happened was that. And I like most of everybody knows this by now, but Dean Ambrose went for a slingshot, and Cesaro literally ate the ring post. He literally ate the ring post, and because of that, his front teeth was shoved, I think they said 4 millimeters into his gums. Now, in real time, when we were watching it, we did not see, because they didn't really, I'm not sure, I don't think they did a close-up to Cesaro's face, that shot of him on his knees looking at Sheamus with his teeth. They did not do it until, I think, when all of a sudden Cesaro's mouth was all bloody, because I didn't notice until Rollins did his hot tag. He got the hot tag, he was, doing his sequence, and then he hit the super kick on Cesaro. And when he hit the super kick, the minute he hit the super kick on Cesaro's mouth was all bloody. So I first thought, we all thought, oh crap, Rollins, kicked him so hard that he busted his mouth, like a real Mortal Kombat like kick. But it happened before that. And when we saw Cesaro's teeth, we thought that his teeth got chipped, like he bit down so hard that they just broke his teeth. And I don't blame anybody feeling uncomfortable about hearing stuff like that about teeth, because trust me, I've been through 4 root canals, all in the same year, 2006. even though the dentist did say that I was one of the most courageous they ever had because I did not scream or anything. I was lucky enough that it didn't really hurt. But still, when I would have those root canals and I would hear they would have to crunch, like break the tooth, and I hear that crunch, it was very disturbing. So just knowing that Cesaro's teeth were pushed into his gums just sounds horrific and painful. But damn it, as Santino Marella would say, the tough son of my gun, he finished the match. He finished back, but I really think the pain, he was blocking out the pain with his aggression, because anytime he threw a European uppercut or a kick after that, they had some malice behind it. They had some extra oomph behind it. The best spot of the match, which we all thought was the ending, was Sheamus. He had Ambrose set up for the white noise. And Cesaro, they was basically going to go for the aided white noise, which I still feel, at times I look at it, I'm like, okay, I kind of don't understand. How does that make the white noise more stronger? I get the spike power driver, but I don't understand the aided white noise. Only thing it is just Cesaro just coming off the tower and just giving a light push. That's it. While the spike powder, you're holding the person's feet and you're driving it down while the person's going down. But I digress. Seth tries to go for a Super Hurricane Rana, just like he did at SummerSlam, which I gotta go back and check to see if any of the commentators mentioned it, because when I listened to Soul Monster, he didn't mention it, and when I listened and I watched Luke Owen and Ollie Davis review, they didn't mention it at all. They didn't mention it as well. But what I really liked about this spot was it was a callback to how the SummerSlam match finished. Remember, the SummerSlam match, it was the same set, but Rollins actually hit the Super Hurricane and knocked Cesaro into Sheamus. This time, Cesaro caught Rollins, and then Sheamus did the white noise on Dean Ambrose, and then Seth Rollins got super power bomb onto Dean. We all thought that was a finish. The crowd thought it was a finish. But I think Dean Ambrose was the legal guy. Dean Ambrose kicks out. Over the top, and I would have bought that as the finish, even though my prediction was for Ambrose and Rollins to win. I don't think that you had to take the belts off of them that quick, but I would have bought that as a solid, definitive finish. I believe later on, almost right after that, Ambrose I think he played dead when Sheamus went for the bro kick. Did a possum small package kick out. Sheamus went for the bro kick, but got Cesaro instead. Seth hits the King's Landing. Now his Rainmaker knee, but basically the V trigger, has a name, and it right into the Dirty Deeds. 1, 2, 3. Dean and Seth are still your tag team champions. Now, I just want to go on and say that it's good that the move has a name. Instead of just saying, "Oh, that wicked knee." That's all they used to say, that wicked knee. But I would have just called it the Kingslayer. Just the Kingslayer. That's it. It was also good to hear that basically that Cesaro got a standing ovation from his peers. Coming through the back for gutting it out the way he did. He deserves it for that, because I just know that had to be excruciating. Right now, if you don't know about your gums, those are just really full of nerves. I just know that had to be painful, and if he wasn't feeling because of the adrenaline, I just gotta believe once the adrenaline worn off, Jesus. But best match of the night. Hands down, best match of the night. Best match of the night goes to the Tag Team Championship match, which is really good. I'm a big fan of Tag Team Championship matches. And WWE in the past couple years, they've kind of been on and off in terms of, being consistent with, the depth of their tag division. But in the past years, starting from like the Usos, or basically when the Shield came and they had those matches with the Usos, they had those matches with the Road Brothers. The tag team title matches, have been things to definitely watch out for. Just same thing with this New Day and Uso. I can't wait until they have their Hell in a Cell next Sunday. Fourth match for the Women's Championship, Fatal 5-Way, Alexa Bliss defending her title against Nia Jax, Sasha Banks, Bayley, and Emma. Now, most everybody thought, that No Mercy. Remember, at first this went from being Alexa versus Sasha Banks at No Mercy, even though Nia, showed her true colors and dumped Alexa. Then it went from Alexa defending her belt against Sasha, Nia, and Emma because Nia and Emma won that tag match. And then just because Bayley made her triumphant return, she was added to the match. Or more, it was because she never got her opportunity at SummerSlam because she got injured. Nia and Alexa, they were the crowd favorites in this match. Sasha and Bayley, when they did the announcements, the ring announcements, intros, there was like mixed reactions. I think with Sasha, these mixed reactions are definitely coming from, if you don't know the story now, I'm kind of surprised. The whole thing of her being shown not being too grateful, I guess you can say, to her fans. She was basically kind of ignoring them. That's been kind of a real debated topic in terms of Sasha Banks. And with Bayley, I'm not sure if it's a case of, I want to believe it's because of the kind of the lackluster booking of WWE, that they booked her to the point where, it's kind of easy not to really, care about her, or the fans just for some reason, they're just like, we don't like you anymore, Bayley. But anyway, Nia and Alexa were the crowd favorites, especially Nia, being from the California area. But I don't think it's just a case of just being from the California. With this past build-up, the crowd has definitely been getting behind Nia. I don't know where they were when they did the rematch between Alexa and Sasha, the SummerSlam rematch, but Nia got cheered when, if I'm not mistaken, she got cheered when she, betrayed, when she dropped, Alexa like a bad habit. So she's been, getting, better ovations, better crowd reactions, and it also helps when you do a double Samoan drop like she did on Alexa and Sasha, paying, homage to, one of her relatives, I like to believe, one of her relatives, the late Umaga. He was the first person that I saw do a double Samoan drop. He did it in a Elimination Chamber match on Shawn Michaels and Chris Jericho. But Nia, not only was she was booked very well as a monster in the match, anytime she was out of the match, it was like, the crowd, like her absence was felt. And then as soon as she comes back, her presence with her, her reemergence was felt. The crowd would get right back into it. Even though they were into the match, overall. And most people got their stuff in. Emma got a double Emma sandwich in. Bayley got a Bayley to belly in. Sasha got the bank statement in. And if I never when she got the bank statement, Bayley broke up that. And when Bayley hit the Bayley to belly on Alexa, Sasha broke that up. So, and once again, and then they had that weird, awkward dialogue segment the next night on Raw, which, it begs the question, are they ever going to actually go through with this Sasha Banks Bayley feud, with Sasha turning on Bayley? And, I think it was Dave Meltzer and Brian Alvarez, they were talking about, like, whenever it happens, will it be to a point where the crowd just doesn't care about it anymore? It doesn't have that same impact anymore. Because they have been building this since it's been so too much. Yes, me, I think it's been too on and off. But anyway, I said that Nia was a monster. Most monsters are like serial, or like your Jasons or your Jasons or your Michael Myers. or just your type of horrific looking monster. Even though Nia Jax is not not horrible looking, she's very beautiful. You know, you know whether she's the size that she is or not, she's very beautiful. But mostly every monster has that moment you think they die and they come back. That's what Nia had, because she almost died when she took a double power bomb off the apron onto the floor. And this was not the first time in this year of 2017 where Nia, where she almost looked like I'm not saying the Undertaker, almost looked like Big Show and Kevin Nash jackknife powerbomb, where almost her whole weight came down on her neck and shoulders. Remember back at Wrestlemania when they did the doubles back suplex on her, when with the assistance of Charlotte with the big boot. She almost like she died there. So goes right at Nia, despite being a big girl and being full of big offense, seems like she has no qualms in taking big spots, even if they're at the risk of her neck. But yeah, that was the big spot of the match, and it was like her near death moment. But then when she came back in, that crowd, I'm not gonna say erupted, but they really got on their feet. And she was she knocked down, she knocked out Sasha, she knocked down Bayley. She hit her big leg drop on Sasha, but Emma broke it up. Then I believe Emma got thrown out of the ring, and Nia tried to charge at Bayley. Bayley moved out of the way. Nia went shoulder first. That was it for Nia. Then Bayley tried to charge at Alexa. Alexa sidestepped her, threw her into Emma, and what we saw at Payback and what we saw at Extreme Rules, Bayley takes the DDT and eats the 1-2-3. So you can look at what Bayley just brought back to lose, because I seriously had Emma taking the fall, but it was like, well, they just went to the old drawing board, back to basics with the usual. Let's just have Bayley take the fall. And then Alexa Bliss cut a little promo. Now me and my cousin's friend Jason, he thought that when Alexa was walking backwards, that like Asuka's mask was gonna pop up on the LED screen behind Alexa, which would have been a cool event. And it makes me wonder if they will do that. That's if, because I'm not sure if Asuka debut at TLC, because they did announce that at TLC she will be coming. I'm not sure if her debut match is going to be against Alexa, or is it going to be against somebody else. It could go either way, because the next night on Raw, I should really say at Raw Talk, they started a program between Alexa and Mickie James that really went into full swing of things the next night, which I thought was a good promo on both behalves to really get this feud going. But you can obviously tell it's a placeholder feud, but this makes me wonder if it's going to be in 2 weeks' time they're going to do Mickie versus Alexa for the women's championship, because TLC is on October, I think, 22nd, or is this going to be built up all the way to TLC while maybe Asuka reignites her little feud with Emma that she had back at NXT. I don't know, but we just know that Asuka is on the path. Is bound for the women's championship. We already know. We already know that, and we already know that nobody, and I mean nobody, is ready for Asuka. But once again, good match with between the women. And see, this was 4 matches into the card, and once again, the crowd was highly into this pay-per-view. This pay-per-view had a really good flow. It reminded me of a prior No Mercy 2008, one of my favorite pay-per-views of the past decade. If you watch that pay-per-view has a really good flow, flow. And I'm going to make one more comparison to to No Mercy 2008, but it's kind of the difference later on. So we get into the fifth match, which was one of the most featured matches of the night. Roman Reigns versus Johnny Boy Cena. The face of the company versus, the heir apparent face of the company, if you will. This match was heavily promoted within good reason, but this match had a very odd start, and a lot of people have touched on it. I think the crowd was chanting, "You both suck," to John Cena and Roman Reigns, which I was not surprised they was going to get that chant. And then Cena, he gets on the apron and he's like, "All right, I guess blah blah blah. We both suck. I don't need this match. Blah blah blah. Herb." And he starts walking away, and you just got Roman like, "No, you can't do that." And he, follows Cena up the ramp, punches him in the match. It was just very weird. That was just a very weird start, and I guess one could take it as a Cena doesn't take Roman seriously, but it's like, well, then why would you say stuff like, "All right, no mercy, it's gonna be a cakewalk"? Well, it's gonna be a cakewalk because you were gonna walk out. You were gonna walk out of the match. Just very, very odd that start. And from there on, the first half of the match was pretty dull. It was mostly Roman, punching Cena, walking around the ring, baby, looking at the fans like, this guy, you kidding me? And using rest holds. And then once Cena started doing his, got into his 5 moves of doom and things started picking. When he first did it, he got knocked out in midair. And I believe Corey Graves was like, "Oh, we've never seen like Cena's thing get like cut off like that." I'm thinking, yeah, we have seen Cena's shoulder block get countered. It happened with Randy Orton. Trying to think who else did it, but it's like it has happened before. It has. But yeah, it was not until that part came, and then when Cena hit his first FU, and I don't really call it the attitude jump. When he hit that, it started to really get going. They also, I don't know if it was unintentionally, but they did a callback to SummerSlam 2008 with Cena trying to go for his leg drop off the top rope, and Roman Reigns catch him in a powerbomb. That was a pretty nice spot. Then Cena, I think after a Superman punch for a near fall, he was able to hit a super attitude adjustment for a near fall. The crowd was chanting one more time. Around this point in the match, the crowd was basically full on John Cena. They really were. Yeah, and it wasn't to any surprise to me. It was like if they had to choose like which is the lesser of two evils, the fans are probably going to pick, John Cena as the lesser of the two. So the crowd was cheering one more, and Cena almost like, "I got one better," and he started clearing up, like very politely cleaning off the announce tables. Like, "Yep, excuse me. Like, oh, is this your pencil? Okay. Is this your monitor? Okay, let me just clean this off nicely." And he goes for the FU off of the announcer's table to the other one, but going back to WrestleMania with the Undertaker match, Roman Reigns spears him off the table and through another table. And by doing so, Nia Jax being Samoan, it seems like this night it was not good for Samoans' necks, because Roman Reigns, him too, almost got himself killed because he almost spiked himself. He almost DDT'd himself, but he was able to kind of catch himself at the last minute. But he did crumble up into a heap. It was a very sick looking spot. But that got a near fall. And then Cena was able to hit the FU, did the roll through, and hit another FU, which at the time, Jason, he was groaning because he remembered back in the Shinsuke Nakamura match. Remember, that is what led to Cena losing. When he hit the FU, he tried to go for the consecutive one like he did with AJ Styles, but Nakamura countered. This time he hit it, and Roman Reigns kicked out. So basically, Roman kicked out of 4 FUs throughout this whole match. Because he kicked out one, kicked out of a super, and then kicked out of 2 consecutive ones. Then it was just something I'm kind of noticing some callbacks then to this match. It's kind of a callback to after AJ Styles kicked off Super FU, where Cena kind of had that moment of self-doubt. And he's looking at Roman, and Roman's looking at him like all exasperated, almost like it's going to have to take a lot more of that to beat me. Yeah. And, Cena, he takes I think he looks away for a little bit, or like for a quick moment, or he's about to approach Roman and Superman punch and spear. And 1, 2, 3, it's over. So, if you compare, how many finishers, Cena did 4 FUs, and he even did lock on an STFU. And Roman basically hit 2 spears. Some people keep saying 1 when he basically hit 2. He hit 1 through the announce table. Basically, I was saying, well, if people have a problem with this, in terms of like, oh, Roman Reigns is Cena, was what I was saying was Cena basically got Cena'd. How many matches have we seen a person hitting their finisher, or if they have 2 finisher moves, hitting them multiple times, and most of them may just take 1 FU or 2, and that's it. A moment I could think back on was Capital Punishment, the only Capital Punishment back in 2011 when he went up against R-Truth. R-Truth hit all of his finishing moves. He hit the lie detector. He hit the axe kick. He hit the little Jimmy. He hit the truth or consequences. And Cena kicked out. The only thing it took for Cena to win was a kid to splash soda or water in R-Truth's face and a FU, and that was it. So basically, Cena got Cena. And after the match, Cena endorsed Roman Reigns to a chorus of boos. What do you expect? This is not the first time that WWE has had somebody endorse Roman Reigns, and it is not well received. From The Rock to Bryan to, in a way, to The Undertaker. Almost like, all this, like, passing, of the torch stuff. Because that's what it's kind of supposed to be, like, passing the torch. But it's like, if you just have Roman win. Don't, because if you're going with the thought of, well, we do this, he's going to get you, like, no, then just stop right there. Just have him win, and that's it. Because the whole endorsing stuff, the fans just don't want it to see him being endorsed by somebody that they like more. But that really wasn't the end of it, because after that, it was all back to Cena. Because then Cena basically soaked it all in. Roman left the ring and just left the ring to Cena. Cena just soaks it all in. And they're playing this thing up as if like Cena is retiring, to the point where you got I'm seeing articles, is Cena retiring? The guy is not retiring. But they really played this up like he's retiring, like he's looking back. Like, oh man, I'm going to miss this place. Running his hand across the LED. Like, oh man, I'm never going to see this again. I'm never going to feel this again. My God. Apparently the guy's supposed to be out until, there's some reports, like from around here, there's some reports, like from I heard from Dave Meltzer, so when he was talking with Brian, there's some reports saying he survives it, and there's some reports saying he's not supposed to be back until the Royal Rumble. I don't know which one is the truth, but he's not gone. Last thing I just want to say about this match, WWE the next night, as they always do, they really over-exaggerated how good this match was. Like, oh, it was an epic match and blah, blah, blah. The match was good, but I really felt it could have been better when... I'm trying to remember which part. I think it was when Cena... I think it was before he hit... when he hit the first FU and Roman Reigns kicked out. I turned to my cousin and my brother and Jason. I was like, this match is... Because at this point, the match started to get good. Because it was going into the second half. I was like, this match is good, but it's not as, epic or big as it has the potential to be, because most everybody that is not biased towards who know that John Cena and Roman Reigns, are capable of having those matches like that. Especially, this is supposed to be like a big, big deal. It wasn't, it was on a B show, but they were promoting this should be saved for WrestleMania. But yeah, I just felt it was good, and it could have been a whole lot better. I don't know if I set my expectations too high. I don't know, but I just can't wait to be like, okay, it was good, but yeah, it could have been better. But what was not good was the following match for the Cruiserweight Championship: Enzo Amore versus Neville. Okay, just gonna kind of run right through this. Neville whips Enzo's ass for almost 10 minutes straight. Misses a Phoenix Splash. Enzo hits a DDG. Then there's a weird false countout. Enzo hits a low blow on Neville after the referee takes away the belt. Pins Neville 1, 2, 3. Now, I just want to touch on that false countout. It was very weird because after Enzo hit a DDG, which was very nice looking, he got a near fall for that. He gets thrown outside the ring, gets thrown over the barricade and near the timekeeper's area. And we're thinking, okay, this guy gonna get counted out. Okay. The referee's up to 8 or 9 before Enzo holds up the belt. And all of a sudden, the referee stops counting because Neville is trying to get back out of the ring. But it's like, okay, that doesn't not supposed to necessarily break up the count. But in this case, it did. So instead of being counted, Enzo was allowed to get back in the ring, which led to the referee taking away the belt and him being allowed to use the low blow. So thus ends Neville's reign to Enzo Amore, a guy who prior got his ass whipped by everybody. He got his ass whipped by everybody. Looked like a complete joke. Even when he finally became known contender, he just looked like a complete joke, like a real goober. And he wins the Cruiserweight Championship by shady means. Basically, Neville kicked his ass clean and lost because Enzo thought the fight dirty. So a part of me is thinking, man, I guess WWE don't really know how to book a face. And there was something like, I think someone heard, I don't know how many people were saying, never really know. But if anybody thought they're trying to make him like the next Eddie Guerrero, was like, well, there's a difference. Eddie Guerrero was doing a lot of cheating and stealing as a heel. And he kept it as a face because it was one of the main things about his character, like one of the core values of his character. So it's like, yeah, now he's just doing it towards heels. Enzo, was just cheating just to be cheating. Like he's just, like, there's no case of him getting revenge on people. He's just cheating, So we get on to the next night. And they actually saved this for the main, which even though Enzo got his ass, I still don't think it should have been saved for the main event. But around at the time when Enzo was getting these no contact clauses for his celebration and everything, and he was running down the Cruiserweight division, and when Neville was beating him up and he was hiding behind the no contract clause and he was running away from the fight. And he got blocked off by all the cruiserweights and got his ass whooped some more by Neville. It didn't dawn on me that this was supposed to be a double turn. It was going to be Neville turning face and Enzo Amore turning heel. Why? Because for the weeks prior to that, Enzo Amore was getting emasculated by everyone and their mother. He was getting emasculated by every heel, justifiably. So I was just thinking, well, they've been running this shtick with him for the past couple of weeks, so it's kind of hard for me to take this will be a heel turn. But I think it is official. It's probably a heel turn, and now You got fans calling it the WWE sabotage. That they basically sabotage. They basically put all their energy to get the fans, to now boo Enzo Amore. And to a degree, you can say they can. And you can say that they did. They did do that. I really don't see the reason. I really don't see Enzo as a heel unless he's gonna be like the honky tonk man. But what got Enzo over was that this guy can really run his mouth. He can make up these catchphrases on the fly, and and that was shill merchandise. And if that's a good thing for a face to do that. But as for a heel, really a heel, and I know it was different like in actual, but really a heel's not supposed to be going out there trying to get fans to say, their catchphrase. Even though that happened, I'm not saying that's never happened, but still, it's really not supposed to be the thing of a heel. But yeah, Enzo is now a heel, and whoever like placed their bets and they had Neville winning, feel bad for them because they probably lost some money's worth. They might have never even won. Maybe that was what effed up their Wrestle Rumble. Shout out to WrestleRumble.com. That's probably what messed their predictions up. But this was like a real dud for the pay-per-view. It got a boring chant. It really brought the crowd down. And that problem thing, maybe it's maybe so bad that it's good because it will bring the crowd down before they can get back up for the Braun Strowman and Brock Lesnar match, which is a perfect segue for that. The main event of No Mercy 2017, Braun Strowman going against Brock Lesnar for the Universal Championship. The match started off with a big match feel, and who can blame that, because it was built up that way. The match starts off, Brock trying to wrestle Braun Strowman down, but Braun's too big of a guy. So then he hits a German. So they basically rehashed the same segment the last time Braun Strowman. The last time Braun Strowman and Brock Lesnar was in the ring together before the match. So Brock hits a German, no sell by Braun, choke slam, running power slam, gets the near fall. If you take away the pin, that was the same segment. That was the same thing they did in that last segment together. So from that point on, it's just Braun really like working over Brock. They was kind of going at Brock. His back was so hurt that he couldn't do that 5. And then after Braun, runs into the ring post, Brock locks on a Kimura lock. And this was very weird because I made like 3 or 4 times Braun Strowman grabbed onto the rope. And the referee not at one time started counting. Yeah, even though Braun was letting go at time, but there was one where he had it on for 3 or 4 seconds. The referee was Chad Patton. He didn't even count. He just came in there like, hey, come on. And it's like, hey, the guy has a rope break. Like, I don't know. I know he's a big guy, but he has the rope break. So it was like the Kimura lock. It wounded Braun so much so that Brock was now able to go to basically send Braun into Suplex City. Hit 5 straight. Then when he went for that 5, Braun Strowman was able to counter it into the running power slam. 2 injured for the pin. Picks Brock back up. Hits another running power slam. Kick out. And then just out of nowhere, Brock hits the F5. 1, 2, 3. Done. Over. Match is over. No post-match thing. Or it's over. And he just has Braun Strowman just sitting against the announce they were sulking. That's basically how No Mercy ended. It ended with that. It ended on a dud. And this was another discussion in the Yep I Like Wrestling Facebook group. There was somebody that was talking about they don't understand why people are kind of downplaying this match, why they didn't like it. For me, I didn't find the match sucked in terms of like things like it's a terrible match. You can't watch it, like it's that bad. But here's the reason for why most people find this match disappointing. And I was trying to tell the person, I'm forgetting his name, but I was trying to tell him. The reason for why most people that are disappointed about this match, why they are feeling that way, is because WWE themselves built up this match to that proportion. They built up this match to epic proportions. They built it up as Godzilla, like a Godzilla versus King Kong, or just a kaiju battle, where there's just going to be destruction, laid everywhere. And the reason for why, because you just look no further than the SummerSlam match. Yes, Samoa Joe and Roman Reigns was involved in that match, but where did most of the destruction come from? It came from Braun Strowman and Brock Lesnar's behalf. And most people thought, even me included, thought they were going to pick up from where they left off with SummerSlam. And, the person responded saying that, oh, but the SummerSlam match was a fatal four-way. I guess he was trying to what that match had no countouts, had no disqualifications. We've seen WWE, how they lay out matches. We've seen them find ways to have a regular contested match get out of control in some way, in some regard. We have seen that, and you have to look no further than in the actual pay-per-view itself with Roman Reigns versus John Cena. That match was not a no DQ match or a no countout match, and it had the announcement table spot. So you can't really. I don't want to hear, oh, well, that match had no DQ. There was no way they can. Yeah, they could have, because they're so monstrous. I was expecting there was going to be a part of the match. Like, I could have saw during the Kimura spot, Braun doing so much to try to get Brock off that he waxed the referee. I could have definitely saw that, because it would have really played with it. Look, you got these two, titans, these two kaijus, and these kaiju, nobody, the small humans, us, the small humans, we're not safe. We're trying to get the hell out of there. We're screaming, we're trying to get out of there. And the small human in this match, besides Heyman, but he's on the outside, is the referee. I could have easily saw a referee. It's not done intentionally, just because he just happens to be in the pathway of these two monsters, that he gets knocked out somehow. And you can tell that the fans was expecting things things to get out of control. Because I just watched this match before doing this review. I just watched it again. When Braun hit the second, then we hit the second running power slam. The third running power slam. The crowd started to chant, "We want tables." I do agree with I believe it was Luke Owen that said you could tell that the crowd. I think it was Luke Owen said, or it was Brian Howard, one or the other. I'm trying to remember from which review. But whoever it was did say you can tell the crowd was not really buying that the F5 and stuff was there, because I guess their minds were, well, we haven't seen no shit's about to get real. There's gonna be some crazy stuff that's going to happen before this F5 does it, or before this running power slam does it. But that wasn't the case. Basically, WWE built up like it was going to be a battle of, these monsters. Instead, it was just a clash of, titans, basically just power wrestling in the ring. That's all it was. I don't think it's going to be a memorable match when you look back. Oh man, that was like, not as memorable as the Fatal 4, because the Fatal 4 was already memorable once they did all the destruction stuff. This is probably just going to be remembered for the fact that, it did not live up to the hype. And it's the hype that WWE built. It wasn't a case of the fans setting their expectations too high. WWE set the expectations too high. Because you know why? Because they actually did a great job in promoting this match. And they promoted so well that we thought we were gonna get what we were gonna get, but we didn't. And if you like the match, hey, you like the match. But I can't blame somebody saying, man, you know, that was very disappointing. Because after the match, we all was like, man, hey, that was it? Like, man, that was pretty lame. That was pretty lame. And I know most people are upset the fact that it took only one F5 to beat Braun Strowman. Now I know for sure this was from the Wrestle Ramble. There is a theory, and it could be a plausible theory. The theory for why it took one F5 for Brock Lesnar to beat Braun Strowman is because they're saving it for when the inevitable Brock and Roman 2 match happens at Mania for Roman to kick out of the F5. That is a very plausible theory. And I can actually see that because since starting when he won the Universal Championship, it only took one F5 to beat Goldberg. Only took one. It only took one F5 to beat Goldberg. And it took one F5 to beat Samoa Joe. He did 2 F5s in the Fatal 4-Way, but when he did the first one, it got broken up by Roman. He did it on Samoa Joe, and Roman broke it up. But then when he hit it on Roman, there was nobody to break up 1, 2, 3. So you can start tracing and start seeing that, okay, there's maybe some truth to this theory that they want, Roman for when he kicks out, it's a big deal. And once again, I have no problem with protecting a finish move because in these days and times, most finish moves they're always getting kicked out multiple times in the same match. And a move like that, F5 I've always felt should be a protected finisher. However, with how they built up Braun Strowman, I don't blame people for expecting this guy to kick out F5 because the fact that F5 wasn't even that good. Honestly, that F5 wasn't even that good. But because Braun has been built up as this monster among men, this indestructible guy, you can expect, okay, it might take maybe 2 or 3 F5s to beat this guy. But it only took one. Now you got the discussions of, okay, is Braun Strowman, is he buried? And I know that word is thrown around a lot in wrestling, but I'm not going to just go out and say that he's buried. I'm not going to go and say that. But it could probably have the effect of Ryback. Ryback was very hot and everything in 2012, and then when he lost the Punk, he lost steam. But it didn't really, the nail wasn't really, was not really bolted into the coffin, not until Ryback had Mark Henry fall on his head at WrestleMania. But I think this really, I'm not going to say it buried Braun, but it didn't do him any favors. It really didn't. And since Brock is going to be out, now there's some reports saying that he might be for Survivor Series, but the first report that he's going to be out until Royal Rumble. Which this is like, this kind of reminds me of his WWE Championship reign when he came, in 2014. After the September pay, which was Night of Champions at the time, he didn't defend his belt until Royal Rumble. If that is the case, I don't blame people saying, what harm could have been done for having Braun Strowman hold the belt from September to January. And in January, Brock Lesnar comes back. He's had like 4 months to heal from defeat from Braun Strowman. And he beats Braun Strowman. And then WWE can have what they wanted, that Roman Reigns Brock Lesnar match. Who's to say that they couldn't do that? But, this... And the one thing I didn't even have Braun Strowman predicted to win. So, I'm not gonna say that. Oh, my definitely felt Brock was going to win. No, I did feel Brock was going to win this, but I just didn't feel the match was going to be that flat. And I said earlier that I was going to make another comparison to No Mercy 2008. No Mercy 2008, the difference between No Mercy 2008 and No Mercy 2017 that I feel is that while No Mercy 2000, just like with No Mercy 2008, 2017, the undercard was built, was setting the tone, getting people having people invest in the pay-per-view. Difference is that 2008's main event matches delivered on all accounts. Jeff Hardy versus Triple H is a great WWE Championship match. The crowd was highly into it from almost beginning to end. And then once again, I said before about the Shawn Michaels Chris Jericho ladder match, one of the best matches of that year. No Mercy 2017, the featured matches, basically under-delivered. But overall, I really felt No Mercy 2017 was a good show, all things considered. But the main events really, in my opinion, really prevented this from being a strong pay-per-view of the year contender. We still got a couple more pay-per-views, left, but when this pay-per-view was going, with match, I'm thinking, this is probably definitely the best. I still think it's probably the best Raw pay-per-view. But I was really going to say, man, this could be a strong candidate for a pay-per-view of the year. And then the two main events happened, because even the two main events fully delivered. And once again, I did feel the John Cena Roman Reigns was good, but I just felt it could have been better. But the Braun Strowman and Brock Lesnar, compared on what was promoted to us, fell short and was disappointing. If they did deliver strongly, even with that Enzo Neville match, it still could have held on as a strong contender for pay-per-view of the year. But because of those two main events, I don't feel it's a strong enough candidate anymore for pay-per-view of the year. It could probably go in depending on how every other pay-per-view after proceeds, but before those main events, it was a strong pay-per-view of the year contender for me. But it was great that the undercard actually delivered more than the main event matches. I can definitely say that much. Anyway, that was my review of No Mercy 2017. This was Hoka 93, always in the place to be. Until the next time, stay easy. Peace.